Welcome back to a warm embrace, a soft place for the hard parts of being human. Today, we're beginning a conversation that can feel layered. We're talking about our parents. Not just as parents, but as people. Because sometimes healing begins the moment we see them clearly. If this feels tender for you, you're not alone. Your parents were never just your parents. They were people trying to live just like you. When we're young, our parents feel all-knowing. They're the ones who guide us, protect us, shape our understanding of the world. They're the blueprint for love, safety, and understanding. But that blueprint wasn't always complete. Sometimes it had gaps we didn't understand yet. And without realizing it, we place them on a pedestal. Not because we're wrong to, but because we don't yet have the awareness to see beyond the role. Our parents may have loved us deeply, but love isn't always what's felt. It's how it's expressed. And sometimes, what they knew how to give wasn't what we needed to receive. At some point, something changes. We begin to notice contradictions, moments that didn't feel quite right, things that didn't quite match the image we held. And that can feel confusing. Because how do we reconcile the people who raised us with the people who sometimes hurt us? Something I've come to understand is this. Our parents were doing the best they could with the capacity they had. And capacity isn't fixed. It's shaped by what they've lived through, what they've learned, what they were taught love looks like, and sometimes what they didn't have themselves. The way you were treated wasn't always about you. It was often shaped by their capacity, their stress, their history, their own wounds. And their limitations were never a reflection of your value. Before they were your parents, they were just people navigating their own lives. They carried beliefs, patterns, and pain that didn't begin with you. Sometimes they were still learning while raising you, still figuring things out, all while being responsible for someone else's world. They may have done their best, and they may have hurt you deeply. Those truths don't cancel each other out. They sit side by side. Parents can love deeply and still not love in the way we needed. Not because we were too much, not because we were hard to love, but because what we needed was something they didn't know how to give. As children, we often assume if something feels off, it must be me. But many of the ways we were treated were reflections of where our parents were, not who we were. That distinction matters more than we realize. Gently ask yourself, if I separate who my parents were as people from who I needed them to be, what changes? And when you think about your parents now, can you see one moment where their behavior may have come from their own limitations and not your worth? Just notice what comes up. When something doesn't make sense in childhood, the nervous system fills in the gaps, often with self-blame, because self-blame feels more controllable than uncertainty. When we begin to see our parents differently, it can feel destabilizing because our early understanding of safety was built around them. So questioning that doesn't mean you're ungrateful. It means you're becoming aware. Seeing your parents as human doesn't excuse what hurt you. It simply gives you clarity. And sometimes, clarity softens the weight that confusion once carried. Clarity is where compassion for them and for yourself can begin. Understanding where something came from doesn't erase the pain, but it often softens the story around it. Thank you for listening to A Warm Embrace. Take what lands, leave what doesn't, and be kind to yourself today. I'll see you next week.